Welcome to Motivate You, the Winner Circle, here on thisis50.com. I'm your host, June Arch, and today my special guest is a gentleman who I've known for quite some time. When we were in the trenches, what I'm talking about, he would find a way to make a way out of no way. When he was in Harlem, grinding at the Apollo Theater,
Yes, sir.
125th Street, as a young man with dreams that I'm certain were far beyond what anybody could ever conceive. Please welcome to the show the brother, Amin Joseph. Amin, how you doing, brother?
Come on, man. I'm blessed, brother. First of all, I'm with fam. It's not too often that you get things that are full circle. So this is a full circle moment where it feels good to know where your whole trajectory, you know what I mean? Like everywhere you've been, that it counted, that people see you, people see the progression of what you do. That's this type of experience right here. So it feels good to be welcomed by people, by familiar people, by people that you know, familiar
Well,
face.
for those who don't know the trajectory, and we're going to talk about the Apollo days, but you've been seen in Baywatch, Call Me King, The Expendables, Dope, and now your new project, City of Lies, is out. How are you feeling about that? We're going to start there, and then we're going to dive in.
I mean, to me, I just want to play a lot of different characters, an array of different characters. I want to really leave my mark, like a legacy. And to me, that means that incrementally that you're building a filmography. So a lot of the films that I do, I try to play really intense characters. I like to bring a lot of that where I'm from to the characters, and authenticity. So City of Lies is the latest installment of my filmography. It stars Johnny Depp, Forrest Whitaker, and a host of other actors. But it's about the untimely demise of Tupac Shakur and the investigations to unwrap the murderers, the people that are responsible for his murder. So I also did another film, I'm sorry, a television show that was on USA called Unsolved, and it had similar ramifications, similar implications. So City of Lies is in theaters right now. I would implore anybody to check it out. But I'm in that joint, and of course, I'm on Snowfall right now. That's in its fourth season. We just got a fifth season pickup right in the middle of it, and
Mm.
you can check out Snowfall. I'm putting the drops early so that we can get into the thing.
Get to all the good stuff.
You can check out Snowfall every Wednesday on FX or the next day on Hulu. So now that that's done, we,
Let's get
we
busy. Let's get busy. I want to talk about that word trajectory, Amen. Going back to the Apollo Theater days, I remember, with my group, Room Service, going back and forth Wednesday after Wednesday just to get discovered. And we would, coming from Connecticut, we were so amazed, right? You would see Hank and Keith Shockley walking. You would see Keith Sweat walking, Mike Tyson, Teddy Riley, of course, right? All these legends. I remember Ed Lover going through, Martin Lawrence coming through. You were there. You were in Harlem. You had the opportunity to intern there, work there. How was that experience, and what was the best piece of advice that you were given by anyone who's working at the Apollo Theater? Because there's another piece to it
mm,
that I'm going to surprise you with, but I want to talk about just that experience and what kind of seed it planted in you to put you on this trajectory.
I you know I just was on I'm on this app Clubhouse, right? And a lot of people know about it, some people don't. But anyway, it's like an audio app where people, it's like a chat room, big chat room, audio
Right.
chat.
But
And
hold on, Amy. I don't want you to give this away because you're going where I want to go. Don't go there yet. Don't touch the clubhouse piece yet.
okay.
I want you to just talk about without the clubhouse piece, just the experience of interning. Because I got something special. I want that we got to give to them. We got to set that up nice.
Um so just the experience of intern. First of all, I'm from Harlem. So you gotta realize that, I came up during like the Grant's Tomb days. Like this is like mid 90s, right? This is like I'm still in high school This is my first. There was a program called Summer Youth Program that the public parks department in New York used to do, and me and my best friend got Jamal. We got a job at the Apollo Theater. So at first, the artistic director, I'm sorry, the executive director at the time was Grace Blake. Big shout to an amazing producer in all realms of entertainment. But at the time, she was working at the epicenter of art, you know, epicenter of our culture, the Apollo Theater, and she gave us a job. And we, you know, we did everything from bookkeeping to interning in the accounting office to running lights and ushering. Like I ushered for years there. I was working with the maitre d' opening doors, and I did everything that you could possibly think of in a theater. And it also ingratiated me to the theater process. I got to see so many performers work out the kinks in their performances. I saw the professionalism that it took, the type of tireless work that it took for people to perfect their craft and then show it to an audience. And then I'm there to watch them perform. So it was a very surreal type of situation where I'm watching some of the greatest performers that this world has seen night in, night out, week in, week out. And I'm just like a fly on the wall. And I was a young dude, so I didn't know my place. So I would be in people's face and you know, running around the theater like we owned it. And, you know, I look back and see that those people were stewards of the craft that I have now. They protected me. They mentored me, you know. Yeah, it's just a beautiful, it's just a dope legacy for myself.
It's an amazing legacy. And as we move the story forward, when you're in that environment, Amin, and like you said, you were running around there like you owned it. And sometimes I think we block our blessings because we feel like we don't deserve certain things. We sometimes I try to tell people and young people, act like you've been there, challenge yourself, embrace it, do everything that you can. I remember times where we would create our own backstage passes and just get into places, and people, they wouldn't question us because we act like we've been there. We didn't bug out. We didn't do any of those things. We act like we were supposed to be there, and people treated you like you were supposed to be there. And then people would, oh, let's give them security. Like let's do this. Bring them upstairs. And you know, the Apollo Theater. If you've never been in, you backstage and you start to go upstairs. You're like, this is the Apollo Theater. Like this is crazy.
I know
Like,
how to run things.
so you know it well, but there was a chance meeting that you had with someone who we hold near and dear to our culture, who poured into you. Now I want to give you that alley-oop. I want to talk about that story that you shared with us on Clubhouse, because it was there in that moment that I said, man, I remember my brother. Like he was in the trenches when we were in the trenches. This is crazy. But those people were always there to pour into us if you stopped to listen. And you listened, Amin. And who told you what? And how did you take it to get to where you are right now?
So at the time you know, I had done maybe some commercials in New York, and I wanted to be an actor. But like you said, sometimes first of all, you got to think it, right? You got to think it. You have to think it. You have to say it. I was at the place where I was thinking it more than saying it. You know, it wouldn't come off. I couldn't tell someone I'm an actor,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because a lot of times if you tell somebody that, you feel like you have to validate that. The minute someone asks you, are you an actor? A lot of times people are going to say, so what have I seen you in? You know, and being from where we from, it ain't no, you're going to be able to be, you know what I mean? Like, out of here, you ain't no actor, brother. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so that's how it was. I was in high school. I probably was in the 12th grade at that point. So I was even thinking about what my major would be. It would end up being theater arts, going to Howard University. But at the time, my best friend, we were in the Apollo, and MoNique, the legend, the Oscar award winning, Emmy winning host and celebrity and personality and spirit, MoNique was hosting the Apollo Showtime at the Apollo. And my friend went to her and he said, "MoNique, my friend is the best actor you've ever seen. He is the man. Like, he is dope, and you need to meet him. You need to put him on." And mind you, at this time, I'm at the bar. I'm bartending, right? So you got to understand where the bar is. The bar is at the furthest
part of the theater, in the back.
The theater. So I want you to think for a moment, a person that feels like they should be on that stage, and the stage is directly in front of them, and you're at the furthest part of the epicenter of the theater. So every night I'm back there and I'm making drinks and I'm doing, and it feels like I'm watching other people live out their dream, and that's where I should be. And out of nowhere, during one of the breaks, now I'm watching meticulously the show, MoNique, the presence, everything. And during one of the breaks for commercial, she yells, "Amen! Where's Amen at? Where's my baby?" What? I thought I was about to get fired. She comes to the bar, walks over and said, "You are a star. You're going to be a big actor. You have no idea. Come with me, young man." I'm like, what? I can't even, it's surreal to me. No one has spoken to me, that I'm going to be an actor. No one even, I've only told close friends. I'm telling people around, just my homies around the neighborhood, like, yo, I think I'm gonna do this acting thing for real. Like, and they like, yeah, all right, man. It was surreal to have someone like her turn an entire gaze of an entire theater, not to the front of the stage, but to the back. Say that, grab my hand and walk me up to the dressing rooms. The dressing rooms off to the right stage. We went into the very top VIP dressing rooms where all the Ella Fitzgeralds and the Mickey Howards and the James Browns and the Michael Jacksons of the world. Okay, that was sacred ground up there. I had never been up there, and I've been working at Apollo Theater for probably at least 2 years at that point. She takes me up there and then she introduces me to someone. It was her agent. At the time, it was the William Morris Company, and that was WME. And she put me in front of her agent and she said, "This young man is going to be a star, and I want you to represent him." And I end up getting the contact information to the agent. And she said, "Young man, I know I'm going to see you in Hollywood. You're going to have a great career. You are a movie star." That's what she said. And I tell that story. First of all, I had the opportunity to have a full circle situation because all of this time I haven't seen MoNique, right? So I've come out in New York. I ended up doing a lot of theater. I ended up doing some television shows. I came out here. I've been able to produce my own movies. I've been able to be in countless, over 50 huge blockbuster films, and I'm, stars of television series, and I'm supporting on the biggest show on television right now. And all of this time, I hadn't had a chance to give MoNique her flowers. And we know all of the things, a lot of the besmudging of reputation that has gone on with MoNique in the past recent years. And so it felt really good that day on Clubhouse to be able to speak power and to speak truth, because that woman did not have to do that. I was just a young man in the back of a theater with dreams tucked, deferred dreams, deferred thoughts tucked in me. But she was able to spark something. Sometimes when you speak promise into people, even if we take it to on the God sense, it's blowing breath, and it's energy. It's putting your intention, your God, into another person. And sometimes that wakes up things that we have no idea. She gave me fuel. You don't understand how I walked home that night after the Apollo, put my hood on, and you walk with a different step. You like, I'm strutting now. I'm like, yo, I can't, you know, it's that little thing. Maybe I can do this. Maybe what did she, man, she called me a super, you know, I was jumping. I was giddy. You understand how I ran out of that place? And from that time into the time where I ended up on, you know, a SAG set. From that time to I end up getting my own television show. From that time to getting my first agent or first manager, my first producing my first film. There's a lot of time in between there. But it's those type of moments that sustain you. It's those type of moments that I'll never forget, that I could never repay. And then when I go to her and say, how can I repay? I'll do anything to you know, in support of any effort that you have, MoNique. She's like, baby, pay it forward to the next person. Give that
She
same
did.
give that same energy to someone else. And that is what this is about. That's the transformational power that we have when we speak intention into people. That's the gift.
And, and let me say this, or let me ask you this, Amin. The two words, thank you. When you said that to MoNique that day, there was an energy, Amin. And I know you felt it because she was tearing up. You were tearing. I think people in the room, I had goosebumps. And to hear you say those two simple words, thank you, how powerful. I think people miss out on the opportunity to really understand how impactful those two words are. In that moment, did you even realize how powerful thank you was when you said it to MoNique?
I wouldn't have had the opportunity to say it if I didn't know. See, I feel like for those monumental things that happen in our life, and the like I said, the time in between it, the time in between her first telling me that and me being able to tell her thank you was the time that it took me to accept all of the gift that she saw, for me to not believe, to not think, to not say, but to know. Oh, that I deserve what she was saying, to know that I embody that. The true gratefulness is that job well done, son. Job well done. A lot of times in life, we repeat the same lessons because we don't learn from it. We don't get it. When a friend of mine that was, I think that was hosting that room, she hit me on Facebook that I never even checked. And I guess just because it was her, I looked at the message. I was driving in my car and I looked at the message and she was like, come into the room on Clubhouse. MoNique is in the room. I'm like, MoNique? And she doesn't know MoNique. So, and why would she just be like, come into the room because MoNique's in the room? She doesn't know my connection to MoNique. But what that was, is that is the full circleness. That's God speaking to me, saying, job well done. You've learned that lesson. And I said that in the room. I said, you guys don't understand what this means to me, because you don't know for how long I've waited. I've got video messages in my phone where I've spoken to MoNique in the phone. And like, yo, one day I'm gonna be able to give this to her. I just don't want to throw this in her inbox or something. You know what I mean? But
Right.
I need to get it off me. Oftentimes I'll do a stage play, or I'll do a movie, I'll just be in the dressing room. I'll be like, I'll just think about people that have poured life into me, inspired me, and I'll do a message. But some of them, they are in places where I just don't have their number, their math or anything. So that moment was like me getting something off of my chest. It was like giving me the opportunity to tell somebody how grateful I am for them. You know, that is People don't get to do that. We
No.
don't do it enough. First of all, we don't give flowers to people that are impactful like that. But that is, man, that is life, bro. I don't think people understand the power in that, how it empowers her. The same energy that she gave to me, I'm able to give back and reciprocate back to her. But more importantly for myself, because I can't live through the experience for her. When she did what she did for me, it was for her and her journey. But what it did for me is it let me know, job well done, son. Full,
Mm.
full circle. Now I can go and bring other dreams into fruition. I can have completion in other things, because that goal, we check that off.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
I take the same thing and I go, okay, she said pour it into someone else. That's the responsibility there. Go. Fly doing that. Go. But that's it. That's the strength. That's foundation.
That is foundation.
That's the village. That's the village.
Mm.
Talk about all the village and community and all that stuff. Well, that's it in practice. And look how it powers. You get me? My foundation is strong because of people like you, because of people like her that was there at that, you know, that foundational spot. You could have said anything to me. You could have said, kid, it's hard. It's gonna be tough.
Good luck.
Hard work.
I wish you the best.
I wish you the best. Don't get out there and get get your head sideways. Don't get detracted. I hear all type of stuff. But that fuel fed many nights where I had to still question whether I was gonna make it in this business, or or are you making it and it don't feel like you're making it. You don't have any, or that you think that your purpose in life is just to make it.
I love how you put that. I think one of the most dopest piece out of this, we talk about the village, right? But for you, that piece of the story doesn't quite take place unless your village, that foundation, allows you to step into that greatness. And that piece of that village was your friend who actually stood up and spoke up for you. How important is it for people to surround themselves with people who believe in their dreams? And not everybody's going to believe in your dreams, Amin. I know that. But how important is it to surround yourself with like-minded people? When I say like-minded, I'm not talking about yes men or yes women. I'm talking about people that see greatness in you in the moments when you don't see greatness in yourself, when you are in the back of the theater. And I don't think people, unless you've been to the Apollo Theater, you don't realize the bar is at the back of the theater. It's at least a good 60 yards away from the stage. It's not a huge place, but when you look from back there, and I think the bar is behind the sound guy, right?
Yes.
So you're really at the back of the theater. Like, how important is it for you to have that person, your friend who is in the grind with you, to shine your light when they're there to try to, I don't know if he had a dream or not, but he was able to make your light shine bright and bring it to the attention of MoNique. How important is that?
So because I often we would joke about it, like, yo, what did you say to her, fam? Like, what did you say? Like, he was like, yo, I just told her and at the time, first of all, that same friend, here's the synchronicity as well. That same friend was visiting me from New York when we won the clubhouse room. I ended up pinging him. Yes.
Wow.
He was there. He was here.
The universe.
That's
God.
That's what I'm trying to say, that, I don't give a lot of advice and things of that nature, because I know that everyone's journey is different. But that type of synchronicity, I can say that look for that type of synchronicity in your life. And sometimes it can be going toward the positive. Sometimes it can be going toward the negative. If you get that type of synchronicity on the negative, where it's like perfect storm of things going, then you need to reassess, like you're saying, and think about the people that you're bringing into your life. But when that thing is connected like that, that's the reason why he's my best friend. because only a best friend can see in you things that you may see in yourself, some of the quiet, dormant dreams, the dormant intention, the true potential, your most optimal, not you just getting by, not just people saying, oh, you're doing it, it's cool, you're doing your thing, or don't worry about it, or it's okay that you don't pursue your highest intention. But when you got real people that love you, I have a best friend that loves me. That's what that is. And she picked up on the love. And if someone loves you that much, young man, then that's why I'm a star. See, we got the whole lesson. You got to get the whole lesson.
The whole lesson.
The whole lesson is that you have someone that you connect to in a place, and this young man loves you. So he could have got up there and talked about himself. He could have asked for a job. We both Harlem dudes, slick dudes that could talk our way into something.
Exactly.
So he could have said, yo, I'm doing this. He could have talked about his dream. He could have talked about his business, or things that he, no, he used that time to express an intention and a love about me. Therefore, it inspired her to see that, take that, because she knows that energy and pour that into me. And it was so direct. And so that's, this is what came about from it. Powerful story for me,
An
yeah.
amazing story. You had the opportunity. We're talking about a lot of things in the news in our country, uh, whether it's prison reform, whether it's police brutality. How important is it? And this is multi-layered. How important is it for you, where you are today, to be the best version of yourself for young men of color out there? And how important was the HBCU experience as you had the opportunity and privilege to go to Howard University and put that in your trajectory and along your journey? How important are those two pieces of your story?
Well, yeah, definitely HBCU. Like, I believe in going to our historical Black colleges. These are institutions that were made specifically for us, that take care of just more than the educational component, but also the character building component that we need in our communities. It gives us a more communal feel when you go to an HBCU, because a lot of times we're spread throughout the United States. Who knows what type of community that we all come from? But when you come and you work together and you have young minds learning together, there's a special magic. There's an enchanted thing there, and there's a legacy there. We can't forget our ancestors, and we can't forget our spiritual journey. And that sometimes when you're put into a certain environment, there's a spiritual thing that is going on too, that you can't see. Things like being in the Apollo, growing up in the Apollo and having that MoNique experience. I wouldn't have had that if I was working at Rockefeller Center. No disrespect to Rockefeller Center. I might have made connections, but it may not have had the same soul pull that experience had for me. You know what I mean? So that's why I really love our historical Black colleges and universities. And as far as the circle of truth of responsibility, I think one has to be responsible for themselves. I'm not gonna act like I put on the responsibility for Black men looking like me. I put on responsibility of having a code, moral values for myself. And when you have that, you always have the foundation of not doing it for someone on the outside, but for myself, to build on my own self-worth, to rid myself of the fears that would connect me to negative behavior that would inflict pain and suffering on myself. Those are the things that I had to do when I was a young man, when I wanted to do things that was mischievous and end me up getting locked up, or get into situations that just um, wouldn't serve me. You mentioned that earlier with picking friendships. You're not going to pick friendships based on how people see you in the world, or how you know, are going to be impactful for other people. I think it first starts with you realizing that you want to love yourself a certain way, and that you are worthy of living the most optimal life. We are worthy as Black men, as people, as spirits, as humans, to live a good, an amazing
Mm,
life. And we do not have to have a lot of these things of iniquity, but there's a lot of choices that we have to make to do that. And we have to be responsible and accountable enough to ourselves to make those choices. And once you do that, and you get into a series of making those choices, you look up and then people go, oh, are you doing this as a role model for other people? And it's kind of like, if people can take from it what they like, but I'm making these choices at this point in my life to to for self-preservation, and then the preservation of my family, and then my friends. And I think as I do that, and I just look at the things that I can control within my power, perhaps that can be an example of someone else doing something similar. But to me, taking on that bigger responsibility without doing the inner homework, um, sometimes that can be a fallacy too.
mm. You've had the opportunity to go from Harlem to Hollywood, brother. And I want to talk about this phenomenon. Fourth season, Snowfall, Jerome Saint. Um, how does it feel to be on a show that is trending, a show that is important to the culture? And how much fun are y'all having on this set, man? Because I can only imagine, um, between you and Damson and the cast, like it seems as though John Singleton put together magic. And I want to ask you, the late great John Singleton, is there a piece of advice? You know, people are going through things, COVID, losing family and friends, losing their jobs, losing their homes. Is there something that John Singleton might have poured into you that you could share with somebody that could give them the opportunity to see the light at the end of the tunnel?
I'd say John, man, John was a brilliant spirit, man. John, I think it's very similar to what I was saying. I just said it real, casual and nonchalantly, but like John didn't walk around telling people that you had to be this for someone else. John just did it. If
Hmm.
if someone walked up to John and said, "Oh man, I love your directing, and you got any chance? I want to be a director." If he saw you and you were a supermarket clerk, if he saw you and you were washing, uh, cars, you had your pail, like John would be like, "So what you do now, man? This is what you doing? This is what you want to do? There's nothing wrong with this." Giving him some money to wash the car. Then, but I can see I just went to get my security decal or whatever, my license or whatever that is. All right, give me your information.
Hmm.
3 weeks later or so, I would see that person on set.
Wow.
I would see that person on set. Most people on any John Singleton set, from the craft services people to the script supervisor to the best boys and grips and hair department, and are a lot of times people that John has tapped. He tapped them and said, "Come on." And he works with these people, and these people are all throughout this industry. He's left a legacy, not just with the people not with just the films that he created and those moments in our culture that he created with his art. It's also the personal lives. Like you mentioned, people are going through COVID. When we did this season 4, we got shut down in March, mid-March, and we picked back up in October. How many people can go that long without a paycheck? This man is now an ancestor of ours, but people are still eating, literally. from the fruits of his labor, you know,
Mm.
or the fruits of his intention. And that just shouldn't be overlooked. It just shouldn't be overlooked. The real life implications of someone creating art that uplifts our community, that shows, you know, sometimes harrowing tales, like with the crack epidemic. This is not a pretty thing, but it's a truth that we need to be able to look at as Americans and see, you know, the very strained relationship between the Black and brown community and our government, and things, the draconian laws and policies that have been put forth for geopolitical conquest. A man like John Singleton shows that story, puts people like myself in a frame and makes us giants bigger than life, and leaves that legacy even while he's gone. That people still, like I said, people that work in hair departments can still, you know, you understand how important that paycheck is to people, to families right here in Los Angeles right now. So anyway, he just leaves that circle of truth for me around my head to be very proactive in just, and if you notice, it's the same thing that MoNique said. Give it to somebody else, pour into someone else. Go. It ain't about sitting back here and talking, oh, our community, society. No, 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 no. When you're out and people gravitate toward you, do something with that. Infect people with a positivity and a proactiveness to get something done. Pour into people. That's what, to me, John left me with. That type of spirit, and to collaborate with people, to be a collaborator. He didn't lead with his ego, you know. John loved to collaborate. He loved to mix ideas, and loved when you came up with something that was amazing. He could, you know what I mean? He didn't micromanage things to the smallest. He wasn't a tyrant of a filmmaker. You know, he was a collaborator.
I want to ask you about Jerome Saint. This character, man, has a lot of layers to it. There's a lot of love in Uncle Jerome. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of angst. How do you prepare for that role? One, and two, I've had a conversation with Amari Hardwick, and asking him, how do you peel that back when you play Ghost, and for Jerome, like, he's shot somebody recently, like he has the stuff, he's going through these things from a mental health perspective. How do you prepare, and how do you, I don't even know if unprepared is the word, but how are you able to walk away from that character and put that character away so that you could go back to your regular life, and be with your loved ones, your family?
Yeah, it's a process. It's definitely a process of what I consider every role. There's a price to pay to play every role. You know, price to pay to play every role, and that price is different according to your process. With the process of playing a character like Jerome, it was a lot of inspiration from the men that I grew up watching when I was coming up, uncles and you know, cousins, and older dudes in the street that I grew up watching in Harlem and in Queens growing up, and then going down south and seeing a different version of that when I would go visit my mother's family in the South Carolina. And then I have my father's from the West Indies, so all his people that would come over to New York and to Harlem, I would watch it from more of the West Indian feel of you know, watching just how men related to each other and their community, and how they try to stamp out their own identity, even in a world that you know, of white supremacy, to be frank. And then to watch this drug, you know, because I came up, I was a little shorty in mid 80s. So I got, you know, I didn't know what it was, but I realized that people were strung out on something, and that crack was whack and crack was bad. Don't do drugs, and okay, you know. But later I realized what the real ramifications of those times would look like. And as an artist, I was able to reach back into that and use my imagination. And then, like I told you, a foundation of I took I one of the things that I took from, oh, you're going to be a star, is like, well, let me be prepared. So, you know, I feel like I'm one of the more, you know, I love preparation. I love acting to the point where, you know, like I'm in acting school right now, you know,
Mm.
and I many professionals that would say that because it kind of makes you kind of feel like you're not professional. But I believe that you're always learning. Learning education is you know, it's a it's all it's almost like eternal. Like it's just a part of the process. And so those are some of the things that I use to create the character, these experiences with a lot of the education foundation of acting principles for myself, my method, my process, and then a lot of imagination, um, you know, to bring a character like Jerome Saint to life. And then with the traumatic things of the storyline and the themes, I feel like you have to have a process of getting out of that. And a lot of that is being able to let go. Any process of any any you know, rule or process usually has a final step, and usually that final step in pretty much every processes of life is let it go.
Mm.
How do you let it go? And that's different for everybody, for every actor, entertainer, but there is a mental health component of that. And to me, you have to have a way of being able to put that character down. It's a lot harder when it's a episodic character that you have to pick up for several months out of a year, put it down, pick it back up again. It's a little tougher, but nonetheless, there's a process of detaching that character and letting that character live, and not picking up too many of the personality traits and keeping them, because you can feel it. You know, you can feel it. There's often times where I'm doing certain work, for instance, in Snowfall, this up and coming, these next few episodes, you know, this season, I remember not taking any other work at the time. And really, you know, I had to tell my wife, like, babe, for the next, you know, it's going to be a tough 2 weeks for me, let's just say, for a certain part of this season. I was like, you know, it's going to be a little tough. So I may not come home, because being able to switch the moods of being in a certain mindset, and then, you know, you got a 2-year-old toddler. She don't understand that daddy's in a different headspace, and that I need to live in that headspace because I need to do what I'm doing today and then turn around and have that compound energy to do the same thing tomorrow. But in the middle of that, I need to be a father and a husband and you know, and a responsible man. So it can be tricky. A lot of times, that's why actors often like to shoot, you know, on location and be away from the family. Sometimes be in a little bubble, so that you can conjure that type of energy and not have to take it on, put it on and take it off like it's clothing. That's not how
Yeah.
it works. Yeah.
Let's talk about putting it on and taking it off. Who's Sheila? Who is
That
Sheila, Amin?
segue. Sheila is my is like my co-star. I know everyone thinks it's Angela Lewis, but my first co-star is Sheila. That's my luxurious mane that I wear. That I but right.
Soul Glow.
Yeah, that's my yeah. So Sheila is my man, and thank you for addressing her as such. That's her name.
I'm just waiting for Sheila to have an Instagram page or a Twitter account so we could, you know, we got to figure out how
They
we could, you know.
they be done put on poodles and all type of stuff.
Oh man, this is dope. Now I've been playing this game called University of Dope, and I need you to tap into to your Harlem roots. I need you to tap into Uncle Jerome. We're gonna go through these this little trivia game. We're gonna have some fun. Unpopular opinions are welcome. Don't second guess it. First answer, first thing that comes to your mind. Ladies and gentlemen, we're playing University of Dope with my brother, Amin Joseph. Amin, here it is, man. First one. The most influential rap song of all time. Is it A, The Message, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five? Is it B, Rapper's Delight, Sugar Hill Gang? C, Planet Rock, Africa Bambaataa and the Soul Sonic Force? Or D, Sucker MCs, DMC? Run DMC.
I'm gonna go with B, but most that's anyway. I just picked the one I like the most.
Erase one person from hip hop history. Who Uncle Jerome get rid of? A, Curtis Blow, B, EPMD, C, Kumo D, or D, Slick Rick?
Oh man, I'm gonna have to let go of EPMD, and that's tough. But I got.
If these four MCs were on the same track today, who would come out on top? A, LL Cool J, B, Rakim, C, KRS-One, or D, Big Daddy Kane?
Woo! I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with KRS-One, but man, all right, I'm gonna go with K. That's crazy.
All right, I know this what happened to you, and I'm certain it wouldn't happen to Uncle Jerome. But if a pimp just slapped you and took your money, who are you sending to go get it back? A, E40, B, 50 Cent, C, Snoop Dogg, or D, Beanie Siegel?
I'm gonna have 50 go get my money.
Yeah, he good for getting people money.
I'm gonna have 50 go get my money.
If you wanted someone to experience hip hop for the first time, what album would you give them? A, Low End Theory, Tribe Called Quest. B, Enter the Wu-Tang Clan, 36 Chambers, the Wu-Tang Clan. C, Straight Outta Compton, NWA, or D, Paid in Full, Eric B. and Rakim?
Man, I'm gonna go with D. I'm gonna go with D. That's correct.
If you could reinstate anybody back into hip hop, who would it be? A, Guru, B, Nipsey Hussle, C, Nate Dogg, or D, Big Pun?
Man, this is a tough one too, but I mean, of course it's tough, but I'm gonna go with Guru because I knew the brother.
All right, so this might be for Jerome and Auntie, but the best Thug Love collaboration: Always on Time, Ja Rule featuring Ashanti. You're All I Need, Method Man featuring Mary J. Blige. C, Dilemma, Nelly featuring Kelly Rowland. Or D, Best of Me, the remix, Maya featuring Jay-Z.
That's the easiest one so far, and it's B.
The best hip hop soundtrack: is it A, Get Rich or Die Trying, B, Above the Rim, C, 8 Mile, or D, Juice?
Again, this is just me. I'm gonna go with Uptown Anthem. My man Tretch. Naughty, you got a break. Juice.
Choose the best movie from the following: A, Dead Presidents, B, Menace to Society, C, Baby Boy, or D, Straight Outta Compton?
Dang. I'm gonna go with, man, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Dead Presidents though.
All right. Which hip hop label would win in a fist fight? Is it A, Death Row Records, B, Rockefeller Records, C, Bad Boy Records, or D, No Limit Records?
Is that a fist fight? Rockefeller Records, Death Row Records, a fist fight, No Limit Records. I don't know, man. I'm gonna go with No Limit Records, man.
All right. They bout it. Which crew, Amin, would you choose as teammates on Family Feud? Would it be A, Dipset, C, B, Cash Money, C, G Unit, or D, Rough Riders?
I got two in. Oh, I'm gonna go with the Dip though.
Uptown, Dipset. You're stranded on a deserted island. Which album would you listen to? A, Black on Both Sides by Mos Def. B, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. C, 3 Feet High and Rising, De La Soul, or D, The Chronic, Dr. Dre?
Man, I'll take The Chronic though.
Stay woke. Best politically conscious song. Is it A, Fight the Power, Public Enemy? B, F the Police, NWA? C, Hip Hop by Dead Prez? Or D, Umi Says by Mos Def and Yasmin Bey?
Man, that's a really tough one. But I'm gonna just go with Dead Prez Hip Hop. It's hard though. That's a tough one.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Erase one person from hip hop history if you had to. Would it be A, Swiss Beats, B, Dr. Dre, C, Pharrell, or D, Timbaland?
I like erasing people, man. Oh wow, come on. This is crazy. Why are you doing this to me right here? I'm gonna have to X my man. Man, this is crazy. I know these brothers. I'm gonna have to take Pharrell off there.
If you had to, Amin, this is the last one, so you can stop sweating. You can stop sweating.
Yeah, this is hard.
If you had to get rid of one of them, who would it be?
Oh my God.
From hip hop history, A, Nas, B, the Notorious B.I.G., C, Tupac, or D, Jay-Z?
If I had to just one person from hip hop completely out of those, man, this is ridiculous. Wow. I guess I gotta say Jay-Z.
Amin Joseph, thank you so much for playing University of Dope. If y'all love the game, go check it out. It's universityofdope.com. Amin, for you, man, you've been doing this.
That's fun. I gotta pick that up. That's for a lot of arguments right there.
It's a ton of arguments. A ton of arguments, I promise you. You've been doing this for some time now, brother. We are so inspired by you. What keeps you motivated to keep going?
Man, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I had great parents growing up, man. I feel like that West Indian culture, that Southern culture cooked into a gumbo. I was raised in New York. I love Harlem. I love my people. I have a beautiful family. Man, I got so many things to be thankful for. I got people like yourself. I got people like, MoNique, people that spoke promise into me. And I grew up in a Black community, a Black school. I went to Rice High School in Harlem, went to a Black university. I'm just proud of my heritage, proud of my people. And I get the love back, which also strengthens me. And and I feel like God isn't done with me. I feel like I still have a legacy to fulfill, dreams and purpose. So I'm looking forward to everything that's in store for the remainder of my life, and to knock down other barriers and to live limitless. So yeah, that's how I see life. I encourage everyone to follow their passions, respectfully, and not worry about the detractors from that, not worry about the naysayers from that, to supremely focus, like insatiably, on your purpose. Put 100,000 hours in it. Be totally zoned out. Just be crazy about whatever your passion is, and I promise results will come. I promise. Put 100,000 hours in it. 11, 15 years. Don't be worrying about if it's going to work in 4 months. And
just put the work in. Just put the work in.
And have fun doing it. Have fun on the journey there.
I love it. Music is a soundtrack to our life. What song best represents your journey up to this point, or which artist embodies your journey up to this point?
I don't know, but when you first mentioned that, there was a song, and it's not my journey up to this point, but it's a song that was impactful to me, and it was a DMX song, and it was Slippin', and because I think you always need to know what your bottom is. Remember, it was like look at the video to say to myself, I could have been yo. And I remember looking at the television when I wasn't on the frequency of really going after what I wanted. I remember being disenchanted and being like, yo, I could do that. Like, and I'd be hating on, I'd be like, yeah, that person ain't good. And I just remember that energy sitting on my couch. And it was in that moment, it was in that kind of slipping moment, you knowing that you slipping, you knowing that you're not living up to your potential, that I said, you know what? I ain't gonna let myself be the excuse no more. Type of accountability can really get you far. At least it's the beginning steps. So Slipping is my song. Although I don't live that today, it was a soundtrack, and I'm glad that it isn't a soundtrack for me now.
I love it. I love how you put that. Listen, whether you're watching or you're listening, he said it best. Know what your bottom is. Put in the 100,000 hours. It doesn't matter if you're in the back of the theater or if you're in front of the stage. Make sure that you stop to listen to the road signs and the detours along your journey, because there's someone along this journey who is going to be a blessing in your life, who's going to speak life into your dreams. But in order to do that, you have to surround yourself with a village that believes in you in the moments that you don't believe in yourself. You can see him every Wednesday, Snowfall on FX and Hulu, playing Jerome Saint on Snowfall. Please like him, follow him, love him. Tell somebody that you love them. It may be the last time you have the opportunity to do so. Amin. I love you, brother. I'm proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing. You're inspiring us. And listen, whenever you need anything for us to support anything or pour into young people or people alike, we are there for you. We love you. God bless you. This is June Archer for the Winner Circle and Motivate You here on thisis50.com. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Any last words, Amin?
Nah, just love y'all, man. Love you, brother. You the best. You do it right. Thank you. Appreciate you, man. You always been doing it right.
I appreciate you, bro. Listen, like it, love it, share it, be a blessing to someone else. It comes back 100-fold. Once again, that's Amin Joseph. I'm June Archer. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Peace.